Hello and welcome to another edition of Power the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group Consulting, as well as best-selling author and speaker. And if you've been following me on E360 TV, LinkedIn, Facebook, or anywhere else, you know I love all things books. And the one thing that I love about this particular platform is it's designed to spotlight the voices of women, to elevate the voices of women and the change agents that they are, whether it's books written by women or books designed to inspire, motivate, and elevate women. And today I'm excited because we have a very special guest, and we are going to talk about her latest release, which is entitled In-Person and Virtual Events That Rock. And this amazing diva is Dr. Patricia Rogers. Dr. Rogers is a speaker, a teacher. She is an influencer and motivator. She hails from Florida, but now calls Atlanta, Georgia, her home. And you will find her on all stages, both domestic and international, speaking her motto of people need people. And ladies and gentlemen, she's not just speaking it, she's living it in everything that she says, everything that she does with business. And this particular book, which is also an Amazon best-selling international book, is designed to help you who are trying to figure out, how do I get more visibility? How do I use both a virtual and in-person platform, whether it's spotlighting you, your message, or the messages of others? So without further ado, we're going to bring Dr. Patricia Rogers to the stage. How's it going, Dr. Rogers?
Fabulous, my dear, fabulous.
You're looking gorgeous as always.
Oh, I feel great. I'm happy to be here with you as always. Yeah, my energy always go up when I'm on your platform.
Well, congratulations on this book. I've got my copy here.
I have my copy here and 100,000 more. Yeah. Oh God. Yes.
Well,
yes.
Well, congratulations again. I know this was long in the making, and when we had the pandemic, you continued with your book, but you added some things, lessons learned from the pandemic within the book. So we'll get into that as well. One of the things that I noticed when I was reading this book, Dr. Patricia, is that you truly realize the value of connecting with people. And you say people need people. And I noticed that in your book, whether it's starting in the beginning or ending, you're celebrating not only yourself, which is important, right? I always tell people you got to learn how to love you and celebrate you, but you celebrate and elevate others who helped you along the way. And this book is a guide to help others along the way, yes?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly right. That's definitely one of the reasons that I wrote it. I know everybody don't read books that they buy. Some don't read them all the way through. But you know what? I'm a firm believer that whatever vision is given to us to do, I do believe that everything that we do will fall on the right eyes and ears.
Now, if you could tell us a little bit about what inspired you, because I know you have a background in law enforcement, prior military. Thank you so much for service in both of those lanes. And now you're this rock star entrepreneur, but you know so much about events. So give us a little bit of backstory, and why do you feel this book is so important today?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, I guess. It's a good question. It's a good question. Why? Always why. I know they tell us in coaching, just do what we need to do and worry about the why later. But why I wrote the book is because I have been in several collaboration books. And one thing I did discover, and all that was just really, that was setting a platform for me to get started on my own book, because I do believe that everybody has a desire. Everybody that, has a vision, even those that don't know that they have that vision, people want to be authors. And I've always wanted to write a book, even when I was working for corporate America. But of course, some of the stuff that was going on in my job, I couldn't write about, without getting in trouble. So it was just a fleeting thought. But when I retired, I did want to, but then there was the fear. There was the fear of the unknown, what it would take. How do I start? What am I going to put in it? All of those things. And I started with Women's Prosperity Network, which I know you're a member of that organization as well. And in 2015, I was retiring in 2016. In 2015, they had a book, collaboration book called Journey to the Stage. And I felt a nudge on me to go ahead and take advantage of that opportunity. And I did. And LaWanna, when I wrote that first chapter that I had to write, whether it was 1,000 words or whatever it was, and when I wrote my story that I wanted to write about, it was like the words rolled out of my brain and right onto the paper. And I had that chapter finished in a matter of minutes. And that's what aspiration, when you're inspired to do something. Like I said, we don't know what it's going to result to. But if we don't implement the process, if we don't take action towards its attainment, then it won't, but it's already waiting. So that's what happened. And then what happened from there, I was in about 3 or 4 more books. And after I had been hosting events over and over and over, I'm like, okay, now let me talk about these events. And that's what inspired me to do a book of my own, because of course, whatever book you write about, it has to be a burning desire. It has to be a passion. And that's what I started writing. I finished it before the pandemic, and it was almost on Amazon. And then the pandemic came. I had a big event planned for that May of that year, 2020. And of course, when the pandemic came, all the doors closed, and the hotel canceled all my reservations. Eventbrite told me to give people back the money, or refunds or whatever. And so I just did what I needed to do, and I put the book aside. I say so much for that, because it was only about in-person events. And after the pandemic came and went, thankfully, then that's when I had a defining moment. And I believe God was speaking to my heart. He said, now go get the book. Now you add in what you did to transition to online virtual events. And that's what I did. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. And I love what you said about you were inspired. So you were in one lane, you were very clear on where you were going, right, with the book. Then the pandemic happened, and that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to us today. Life sometimes happens, and it upsets your apple cart, or so you think. But actually, it's actually putting more apples in the cart. So through that experience, right, now you're ready for the next iteration of business, because business today is not going back to the way we did it pre-pandemic.
No, not at all.
Virtual is here to stay. Hybrid is here to stay.
And I'm loving
so that now makes this book, I believe, evergreen.
Absolutely. And that was another thing, right? Because when the doors closed, the book was no longer good. It was obsolete, because it was about in-person events. And although I was hoping that COVID was going to go away, we all were, it didn't go away. It got worse. So you're right. And so I knew the book was obsolete. But again, and I think I wrote one just recently, I did a paper on the fact that, what was it? Revival. I named the paper Revival because the book was revived. I wrote it on Facebook.
No, that's powerful. I mean, just when I was reading it, obviously it takes you through, your story and then some tactics, the how-tos. But if you dig a little deeper, and I always challenge people, read between the lines, there's so much there. You're speaking to the mind. You're speaking to spiritual alignment. Yeah. It's more than just a how-to book, right? It's really deep if you allow yourself to sit in the book. Yeah.
It's real. Everything is true. Everything is my own experience. And I know sometimes people ask me, well, who is, they actually want to write in the book. Who is the book for? What is your audience? What is your target market, and all of this good stuff? Well, anybody who wants to host events, and there are a lot of people that hosting events, all of the events that I've hosted since 2014, there are a lot of people that would desire to host an event, and they are afraid to take the leap. So you're right. It's a how-to book. And even though, it tells you a lot of the things and the steps that you can take and the strategies, I can guarantee you when you read this book, I can guarantee you, if you get through half of the book and you want to host an event, you're going to feel inspired. And you're going to feel inspired even more because my calendar link is in there. So when people know that you're going to hold their hand for investing in this book, of course, I'm going to open myself up to them. Anyone that reads this book, they get stuck, call me, because this is what we all have to do when you talk about edifying other people. We have to lift each other up. We have to bring people along, and it's not difficult. It's the mind is what tells us things are difficult. It's easy once we do whatever it is that we desire to do.
Yes, I love that. I want to read this little excerpt here. And it goes along with what you're saying. On page 35, you talk about the power of obsession. You said, desire is knowing what you want, the starting points of all of our achievements. Passion for your vision is the first step to achieving even more prosperity. You must visualize and feel the message that you want to convey when you approach the platform of opportunity. Your desire must be so intense that it burns from within and must supersede everything that stands in the way. Once we write our goals down and take consistent, persistent actions towards them, they become reality. Our desire becomes a reality when we embrace our vision and couple them with intense energy, willpower, effort, and the mindset that we will not quit no matter what. You must be so determined to achieve your goals to the point that nothing and no one, and I'm going to put in parentheses, not even a pandemic, will stop.
Not even a pandemic. Not even. It goes back to what you said. When we thought pandemic was a bad deal, it was really a blessing, like you said. It was taking us to getting us prepared for the next destiny, next chapter, next page, whatever is in our life. And it's all in how we look at things. I believe, for me, it's all in how we look at it. I already know. We have to train our minds, LaWanna. We have to train our minds to do whatever we want our minds to do. And even in the midst of the confusion and in the midst of the challenges and in the midst of disappointment, I know that what's for me is for me. And I know I have to do the work to get it. So when other things are going on, I try to take that negative energy that's not conducive to where I'm going. I take that energy and I use it. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You got to try something else. And I use it as fuel to focus on what I really want. And that's how I stay and I look at things, because I refuse to be defeated. And that's what challenges come for, to take us off course. And I believe two challenges are set there too. I believe that they come too by divine purpose. It's just like you tell your daughter she's going to drive a car. You're going to get a new car. Well, if she don't study the driving book, if she don't come to you and make you think that she's trying to learn, what are you going to do? Nothing. She don't get the car. So sometimes I'm saying that to say that sometimes I believe some things are put in our path as what we call challenges, because God wants to know if he can entrust me or you with what he has waiting on us. That's my story I'm sticking to.
I love that. So let's talk about, because you did go through a transformation. There's no one who can write a book that is the same coming out of it. So you started one way with a mindset, with a beingness, if you will. After you finished it, after you opened that box, because I saw that video, and you're like, they're here. Who is Patricia Rogers, Dr. Patricia Rogers today? Now that you finished this, who are you now? What has this journey developed in you that you didn't realize was there?
Oh, wow. Oh, I got goose pimples on that one. Oh, wow. What it did for me, which I didn't say earlier, but when you just read what you read, what was driving me, and I mentioned the collaboration books, that was initial start. But I always had a burning desire to write my own book. And what drove me was when I go to Amazon to look me up in those books that are collaboration books, which is great. They're great. I love everything I do. And I got another one, a couple more coming. But I couldn't find my name in the browser. I had to look up that book that was in the name of the author or the title of the book. Then I had to look for me in the book, because most people don't put you on the front of the book. WPN did, but it was so small. So that's what was driving me. Legacy. We're not going to be here forever. And you know, and I know, we all know everything is technology. You could put Dr. LaWanna in YouTube, Dr. Pat Rogers in YouTube. I can lay there and watch all my videos right there on YouTube from these events and everything that I've shared on YouTube. So I wanted my name to pop up in Amazon when I'm gone. I want people to go to YouTube and put in Dr. Pat Rogers, and I want some videos to come up, because even in that, and I always tell people, it's not about bragging, it's about branding. And anything we do as entrepreneurs is to teach and educate, entertain too. So people who are trying to host an event can watch some of my videos from the events, and they will be inspired, and that burning desire inside of them will just be stirred up more. So it's all about, what am I going to leave behind? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's real powerful. And we often talk about, that generational wealth. Well, often we stay so limited in our mindset thinking financial. But if you can teach, right, and change a lesson through the empowerment of your lived experience, translated now to that next generation, to like my niece, the Madisons of the world.
Yeah.
That's huge, because you don't know how many lives the younger generation are going to touch, all That's because right. They took the time to read the book.
Got to read the
book. Right?
It's in the book.
The time to read the book.
It's in the book. Yes, absolutely. And even now, I want to add to that, even now, some of the things that I talk about in the book, I'm a visibility strategist. So of course, how I show up is everything. I believe that how I show up on platforms, when I'm doing live videos, when I'm doing whatever I'm doing, even writing my scripts, the various platforms I show up on, I believe that people are attracted to how you show up. And I think you will agree.
Exactly.
So I take pride in when I'm going before the people, because I want to attract. What do they say? We attract what we put out. And this is why content is so important. Videos and all of those things, virtual backgrounds, everything is so important. Even if it's not a virtual background, like you have a beautiful, we don't know if it's not a virtual background, but it's because it's professional. So it matters how we show up. And that's what I want to attract people through. And that's how I get a lot of my appointments, a lot of my engagements. I was just received a message today from a gentleman from India, and he asked me to come to Malaysia to speak. I mean, this is just how it works, so all I'm saying is doors open up for us when they're just waiting to be open. But when we're dragging our feet and when we're procrastinating and when we're worried about what other people may say, worried about what other people may think, I've had some negative things come to me on Facebook. Oh, don't tag me. You tag me all the time. Don't tag me. Okay, whatever. I keep moving. Because those are not your target market. So why even take it personal? Well, some people I've talked to, even in coaching, and they get fearful. Well, I don't know what to say. Well, what if they don't want me tagging them? Well, it is what it is. Facebook put the tag on there for a reason. Honey, just use it.
Right. Until they tell you not to, then you stop. You respect it, right?
But
I like what you're saying, Dr. Patricia, because it's so important that people feel like, well, I'm in a box. Well, the question is, did you put yourself in the box? Right? Because fear is a box. But if you step out, that's when the opportunities come. But if you just stay in those little four walls,
that's right.
The likelihood that something's going to jump in is slim to none. You got to step out.
You got to step out. I read something one time. It said, nothing happens in your comfort zone. Nothing happens in your comfort zone. And I was trying to get to this part too, even when we was talking about the legacy. And I know you know this to be a true fact. What makes me feel good and what keeps driving me also is that I know we talk about legacy and what we're going to leave behind, but it's a beautiful thing when you see people picking up some of the things you do while you are alive and can see them.
Yes.
That's even more gratifying and more inspiring. And when I don't feel like doing an event, I got to do the event because somebody in that somebody who has already secured that speaking spot is depending on me. And that's what drives me. People need people.
Yes.
And what can stop me is some of the behaviors that other people have when they are in my events and how they show up or don't want to show up. That messes with my mind. That messes with my vision. That messes with my divine purpose. But guess what, Dr. LaWanna? Uh-oh, there it go again. Uh-oh. But guess what? It will never stop me because the challenge, the blessing, and what we need is on the other side of the challenge. And if we give up in the midst of it, then we fail the people who really need the guidance and the experience that you're going to share with them. I hear so often, oh, I didn't like the messenger. I don't like to use the messenger book. But when you put all of the speakers in the messenger, and since I've been using it, oh my God, I had no idea do so many things. So when I do what I do, it's a purpose behind what I do. I used to say at work all the time, it's a method to my madness. So they would go, the employees go around and say, don't worry, don't question Lieutenant Rogers, just do it. It's a method to her madness. Because my method to my madness is that you can get this just like I got it, but I got to find a way to drive you to the water and then make you drink it. Bam. That's my story up. You can do it.
I love that. And I really like what you said. What's really rewarding in building that legacy is when you see people implementing what you've taught them or what they've read, or maybe you didn't know you were teaching them, but they're watching you, right? And they're drawing from your waters of wisdom. And this weekend, when I was with my niece and nephew in St. Augustine, we were talking at the table and they asked me if I had seen a video, and they've worked with me doing some video productions in the past. And I said, what video? They showed me, they're going to be 18 in 6 weeks. They showed me a video that Mason did 10 years ago.
Wow.
And it brought tears to my eyes. So this goes back to legacy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he was recording every place that we went. And he put a video together showing life with Auntie Juana in the fun we had. You know, here he was 8 years old. And I thought, oh my gosh. So that same high we get when other people come and say, thank you, Dr. Rogers, or you see them implementing and being successful. Because I see some of your mentees who I knew who were like afraid to speak. And now I'm like, whoa. I mean, they're blowing up.
Yeah.
And it's so great to see that.
It is. And it's awesome. Even more so great is when you know what your gift is, like you said, and we implement it. What's even more so great is when you know what it is, and you do get to see the impact that it has on other people. Yes, public speaking, it's like you said, everything is here to stay, just like the Zoom. But the bottom line is a lot of people desire, just like to be authors. A lot of people would love to public speak. And that's why our platforms that we set up, whether they were in person, when we was in person, and even now, it's for everybody, because everybody has to get started somewhere. So we have the different, 15-minute speaking opportunities. We have the 7-minute speaking opportunities. And most people, I haven't spoke. When they do tell me I haven't spoke, do the 7-minute, honey, do the 7-minute. And I will even sit with them and help them go over their little script, because like I said, people need people. And when it's all said and done, they're like, oh my God, that was easy. That wasn't even hard as I thought it was. So a lot of times we just need somebody sometimes to just be able to coach us along. And I'm going in. Everything is not about $1. because most people that are in my event, I'm going to work with them one-on-one. I'm going to have a meeting. I'm going to meet with them first before they even secure that spot, because I want them to understand what's expected and want to know that, make them feel comfortable, in other words. And then when I bring them together, when we are preparing for the event, I put all of our participants, the speakers, the chat monitor, the co-host, everybody goes in a chat, because I want them to feel comfortable. Because me hosting these events, I know from past experience, when all of us can connect before the event, it raises the energy of the event, because now we feel like we know each other. So now when we come on platform, or whether it's live or in person, that diminishes a lot of the unnecessary fear that was there just because you didn't know what you was really walking into. So I pride myself in that. I see it works and I love it.
I love it. We're going to give a cutaway and we'll be right back.
Awesome. Ooh, you know me. Bring it on the energy.
We are here with Dr. Patricia Rogers talking about her latest book, In-Person Events That Rock, 21st Century Tips, Strategies, and Processes. And I want you to, on page 95, you're very transparent here, and you talk about your family, you talk about your childhood. And I'd like you to start on page, if you could read to us, on page 96, the second paragraph.
Oh, wow.
And if you could take us to the end of this page where you start with on page 196, and you say today. Yeah, because you were talking about you had a piano.
Oh, I knew.
And you remember taking 2 lessons. And then I'd like you to start reading with to date. I'm not sure if the teacher stopped showing up or. So you're on 196. And if you could take us to the end of that page, that would be great.
196. What do you want me to start at?
To date, I'm not sure if the teacher stopped.
Oh, okay. To date, I'm not sure if the teacher stopped showing up or if my mom could not afford to pay. I never question it, but it has crossed my mind from time to time. I graduated school, and to get away from home at an early age, the military was a good choice for me. That was life as a child, but today, as the professional leader, public speaker, best-selling author, event coordinator, multi-level marketer, and business consultant that I am, things are in my control. I can say that the impact that I make in the world and those whose lives I touch have been remarkable. Today, I can appreciate my past challenges because they have shaped me into the professional that I am. I believe that challenges set a platform for success. I'm living my best life intentionally and on purpose. And the more I get to know the value that I have, the more fulfilling my life is, with so much more to come. And you're going to make me cry, girl. Why you made me read it?
Because I think that's one of the most beautiful passages in this book. And that's why I'm telling everyone it's so much more than the steps, right? The strategy. There's more. There's depth into this. It's not just a how-to book. It's insight into your soul. You've been so transparent from beginning to end. And I see it as a book of inspiration and hope. No matter what your lane is, life happens, challenges happen. We're born in certain situations. Sometimes mom says no, right? And we don't understand. But I believe all things work to our good, right?
Yes.
When we're called according to his purpose, and you're a woman of faith, and I know you believe the same thing. And this book has so much, as I mentioned, it's a business book. It's the tips, it's the strategies. There's spiritual lessons woven in this book.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring book. And I think when people finish it, they feel like, I think I know this author. Because most people, you read it and you understand the topic, but you can't really say, I know the person behind the words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking from the heart is yeah, that's definitely what touches the lives of other people. You know, is to just be real and just share it, even when you think you don't. Sometimes people don't share things, even in public speaking. That story, people hold back on that story. I don't know what my story is. Well, your story is that thing you don't want everybody to know that you went through, because they're going through it too, or somebody's going to go through it. That's what they need to hear. And so that's how I developed my story. I knew I didn't want to talk about all those times that I got passed over in corporate America, because I thought that people was going to think bad of me. So that was a part of my life. I thought when I retired, it was behind me. But when I took public speaking, and Nancy Matthews, she said, we know Legal Shield is good. It's good. That's a good company, because that was what I was selling at the time, and I still do, but I'm just saying. That's all I thought. I do my little pitch on Legal Shield. But she said, what does Pat Rogers have to give? That messed me up. That messed me up. And then Bill Walsh, I went to one of his trainings while I was working, before I retired, because I did a lot of networking to see what was going on. And I was in one of his trainings. And he said, in one of his free, he used to do free a lot, still do. And he said, and I was trying to see what's going on. And he said, how many of y'all in here want to be a public speaker? So of course our hands went up. I know my hand went up. And he called some of us up in the front of the room. And he asked us, put us on the spot. He said, if you had to speak, what would your topic be? Had no clue. Had no clue. I said something, but I had no clue. But now today, after taking the trainings and investing in myself and following those who have what I want, I understand it now. So sometimes I'm on these platforms, I'm not even responsible for what come out, because I know today that everything that I've gone through, good, bad, or indifference, brought me to where I am today. And I'm going to share it because it's going to help somebody else go through their processes. So it's amazing. You're right. Transitioning is amazing.
I love that. For those of you who are thinking, okay, how can I get on Power of the Pen? And I've written a book and I want to be in Pat Rogers' seat. Well, the information is below. You can contact us. We'd love to have a pre-interview. Again, this platform is designed to have a book either written by women or designed to inspire by women. We'd love to interview everyone, but we have a target audience and we want to make sure that you and your message are the right fit for our audience and that our audience is the right fit for you. It's all about creating a win-win, right, Pat?
Absolutely. It's all about creating a win-win, and I'm just so glad that you have had me on your platform several times. And that's what happens when you build relationships. And that's what networking is all about. Building those relationships with those people who have like minds, as they say, and are moving in a direction to succeed. So we do have to be strategic where we hang out at it, in other words, because we want to hang with those people or associate ourselves with those people who are going to add value to our lives. So, I was looking forward to this interview because this is what it's all about. We don't know who will hear this message between me and you and see the collaboration that we have going on here. And like you said, may want to be on your platform. But if we don't put it out there, nobody knows it exists. So thank you so much for having me as a guest.
And before we go, we're going to do one more cutaway, and then I want to turn it over to you and anything that you want to share specifically with the audience. If it's a key nugget from the book, wherever your heart wants to take you, I'd like to give you kind of the final words as we wrap up. But right now, we're going to do our final cutaway.
Awesome.
All right. Well, take it away, Dr. Patricia.
Okay. Well, the main thing I would like to just stress to everyone who maybe are listening or will listen to this broadcast is that everything you desire is already inside of you. All you have to do is say yes to the call. Bind up any fear, any doubt, because entrepreneurs make money and you have products inside of you. And that's what I had to learn. When Bill Walsh talked to me, Nancy Matthews, I was hosting events in my backyard back in 2010, 12, 14, selling the Legal Shield, getting everybody in front of me so that they would hear me sell Legal Shield. I was feeding the people. I was renting the table and chairs. I was doing everything. I rented the DJ, and all of that came out of my pocket. But when I invested, and that's one of the biggest things and best things you could ever do is invest in yourself. When you think you don't have the money, when your desire is burning and you want to excel to another level and you want to exercise your gifts, you'll find the money. But they told me, Nancy, as well as my coach, Nancy, as well as Bill Walsh, they both told me, and Bill was in Las Vegas, Nancy was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 2 different times, 2 people told me, you already hosting events in your backyard. All you have to do now is monetize. You have a business. And I had no clue that I was doing this because it was a gift. So I'm grateful. And again, like I said, all you have to do is take the leap, because everything you desire is right there waiting on you to receive. That's my story. And with that, I would like to end with a saying, definitely something that I live by, that I read once. And it says that you cannot have success without sacrifice. You got to give up something. So you choose. What do you think? What do you think your destiny is worth? I wake up every morning in mine. I'm like, what's next? If y'all don't know, call me. Schedule with me on my calendar, and I'll be glad to have a conversation.
I love it. Thank you so very much for joining us, folks. Go to Amazon, get your book. You can also go to mynewrelease.eventbrite.com and get your hard copy signed by Dr. Patricia Rogers. Her contact information is in the book. You can have schedule on her calendar invite and meet with her, have that virtual conversation, that virtual coffee, and see where this might take you, whether you are hosting or promoting events, or if you're looking to take the stage. Folks, there's something in here for everyone on both sides of the equation, I think.
Yes. Well, I appreciate this. And yes, they can definitely, if you desire to speak, you can definitely, the link is in the book. But again, you can go to calendly.com/Pat Rogers. That would take you to me, and you can definitely schedule and have a session with me. It's always about just getting to know one another, because we don't know what we have that will benefit each other until we actually have that conversation. So with that, and I did put the link there, but you probably didn't see it for the calendar, but you can put it in your later. You have it.
Let me see it. Okay, let me put it up here right now.
Yeah,
everyone.
because we have speaking opportunities as a matter of fact, yes, we have August 11th. I need to say that August 11th is coming up, and we have complimentary tickets for August 11th. Everyone, I can give you that as well. Everyone is invited to this event, and it's complimentary on me. We're still celebrating the book launch. So I would like to just have you drop this when you get a chance as well, so that people will be able to come to this event. And you are speaking at this event. I don't know if you know that.
I am speaking. Everyone come to the event.
And this is all of our events. Basically, most of our events are paid events. But since the book launch, I've hosted 2, 3. This will be our 3rd event since the book launch July. That is complimentary because I'm still on a high.
Of course.
Now the speakers do.
And you should be.
Yeah, the speakers do secure their seats, but we're not selling tickets for this event, and we didn't sell them for the last 2 events. So now October is the conference. That's a different story. We have Nancy Matthews, Trish Carr. We have Jim. We got quite a few people that will be speaking, basically influencers on that in October, because that's the year that's the one we always have the conference, and we do promote that event. But
so
please
we have a free network extravaganza.
Join us. Yeah. That's the complimentary seat. So, and thank you. That's on your behalf for having me today. I almost forgot to tell you. Yes, I had it, but I just didn't get to it. So, yes, we would love to have them come out, see what we're doing, and actually, if they want to exercise their speaking opportunities, just open some doors for yourself. Because normally, when one door open, if you get up, suit up, and show up for that one door, I can guarantee you some more gonna open, because people on our platforms have platforms. How about that? This is a platform, and you're in our network. People in our network have platforms, and if you make yourself known, show up, not behind the cameras. All of our attendees get to introduce themselves and promote a product or service. How awesome is that? So we do the best we can, but we can't make
that. Is amazing. Well, Dr. Patricia Rogers, it has been an honor as always to share the stage with you. Thank you for saying yes to Power the Pen and for sharing this amazing book, again, in person and virtual events that rock 21st century tips, strategies, and processes. So make sure you get your copy. Follow Dr. Patricia Rogers on all things social media. She's very easy to find. You can also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, LaWanna Bradford, Instagram, the LaWanna Bradford. And just remember, everyone, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, just like Dr. Patricia in this book here, success is inevitable. Until next week, we look forward to seeing you all on Power the Pen. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much.